Alright, so here we are, how to use the mapping table. So first things first, if this is your first time running the Etsy setup, you're going to get taken here to the unmapped table. There's two tables built into this one page. There's the unmapped table, and the other one is the map table, or the mapping table. Pretty simple. So the first one we'll deal with is the unmapped table, since that's the first one you go to when you're running the Etsy setup. Doing this is pretty simple, so these are all the eBay categories we detect from your account that you link. All we have to do to map them really is just select the ones we want to work with and just fill out the fields. So I'm just putting in whatever here because I'm just showing you guys. Let's call this a glove. Oops. And then once we hit the submit button, it's going to go ahead and validate the rows we have selected. Right now we only have one. Success. Okay. So if you notice we had 6, now we have 5 items here because that one is moved to the map table since we've successfully mapped that one. And there it is at the bottom right here. If you want to take it back to the unmapped table, you can just delete the mapping. Let's go back just for this. And the other thing I want to show you, the main thing here, is if you have, let's say you have 5 rows, you have 10 rows, you have 20 rows, you want to edit it once. All we have to do is just check this button, apply inline edits to all rows that we have selected. And now when you do this, just go through each row, just like you did. Well, go through one row, and that column that you edit will get applied to every row. So let's call it jewelry. Pretty sure I spelled that wrong, but it's okay. Let's go ahead. It's going to validate all 5 mappings. All right. Takes a little bit because it's going through Etsy. Now let's give an example where I do the wrong mappings. So if you use someone else, let's just say this. Etsy should reject this, so this should not go through. Just to show you that error. Oops. Okay. I think I put that in wrong. Okay, I meant to do a finished product, not a supplier tool. But basically, if someone else made it, it has to be however many years old to sell it on Etsy. That's just an Etsy thing. This isn't us. So basically, if you put the wrong information in here and Etsy rejects it, this is what it will look like. All you have to do, just put the right info in. It's not us, it's Etsy. All right, so now onto the mapping table. First things first, we'll start with the headers. Basically, the header on the right is the button to switch between tables. The header on the left is your mapping type. Most people are going to use store. Some people will use default. It's one or the other. It's not both. So just make sure that at the top right, your mapping type is correct. And here are all the current mappings. This table works largely the same as the other one. If you want to edit something here, just check it. And let's say we want to change the category. It's not a costume weapon. We want to make it a fragrance or whatever. You can just edit everything here. And if you want to save it, just go ahead and hit the update button. If you want to take it back to the unmapped, you can just delete it. And there we go. The new mappings have been saved. Now, if you're running through the Etsy setup when you're doing this, after you're done with the unmapped table, basically after all of it's blank, and you go through and you make sure your maps are good, you can just basically continue your Etsy setup by hitting the button at the bottom left. Etsy setup 3 is just going to tell you if you haven't saved stuff, you'll lose it. And yeah, here's Etsy setup 3.